about the Second Amendment. That'll be good for a first vlog. That'll either turn you completely off of this channel, or you'll understand that that I'm gonna talk about whatever the fuck I please. I don't really give a fuck about other people's opinions. I'm a gun owner. I am a Second Amendment supporter. But I also understand that that we have to have reasoned debate. We can't just throw rhetoric back and forth across the fence and expect anybody to come to any sort of real conclusion as to how they feel about it. We're gonna stop here, take a look at the river. The bird's totally shit. I can smell it. Don't shit on me, bird. So yeah, I'm a Second Amendment supporter and I'm a gun owner, but we still have to be mindful that we're in a democratic republic and every single person matters. Doesn't just matter what I like, and it's not that hard to defend gun ownership rights without resorting to ridiculous sort of false logic. Like I saw a meme on the internet the other day that was talking about how, well, if guns kill people, then spoons make people fat and pencils misspell things, and cars drive drunk. And that's ridiculous. That comparison is downright stupid. The reason that comparison is downright stupid is because no one's ever stolen a spoon from a locked spoon cabinet and then gone to their neighborhood corner store and fatten people up for money. Like, that's never ever happened, and it never will happen. The pencils, no child has ever misspelled themselves to death because they were curious about grammar. And cars are fucking dangerous. Cars are incredibly fucking dangerous. At least once a day, someone tries to sideswipe me, or somebody gets, 2 feet off of my back tire, or any number of terrible driving habits that these cagers have. They are dangerous. So you're talking about, oh, well, this isn't dangerous because blah blah blah. And also, let's not forget that the spoons weren't made specifically to make people obese. The pencils weren't made specifically to misspell words. And cars weren't made specifically to be driven while drunk. Guns were, in fact, made specifically to take a person's life. That's a pretty big difference. And what we need is responsible gun owners who are advocates for responsible gun ownership. And we need less of those kinds of memes floating around that actually retard the thought process of normal people. They see that meme and they don't bother to think it through any further than exactly what the words say. And that's dangerous. It's incredibly dangerous. And it keeps anything from happening. It's hard to say that, oh, we don't need any gun regulations. when you got people, you know, who are mentally deficient buying guns. I'm happy to say only responsible people can own a gun. That's not against the Second Amendment to say that you have to be a responsible person to involve yourself in that gun ownership. You have to prove you're a responsible person to drive a vehicle. Just because you have to have a license to drive a vehicle does not mean that you're not able to drive that motor vehicle, in the same way that having stricter licensing policies with gun ownership would not eliminate gun ownership. Look, there's cars right there. There's cars right there. There's a van right there. There's cars. Some shitty fucking bus. So the regulation is tantamount to criminalization is ridiculous. That's a really ridiculous argument to make. I'm not buckling up. Also, people want to pick and choose what part of the Second Amendment they want to go by, because nobody wants to be, well, a lot of people, some people want to be in a well-organized, well-regulated militia, but a lot of gun owners have zero interest in a well-regulated militia. They only have an interest in right to bear arms. But the right to bear arms is actually the second part of the sentence. It's a two-part sentence where we have a well-regulated militia and a right to bear arms. And ignoring any part of it is just silly, and it ruins your argument. Am I a part of a militia? No. Am I a gun owner? Yes. Do I think necessarily that you should have to be in a militia? Not necessarily. But the fact that the well-organized or well-regulated militia line is in the Second Amendment is proof that our founding fathers didn't see that as a be-all, end-all. That it was with some caveats. And it seems like most Second Amendment supporters totally forget those caveats. And they want it their way and only their way. And that's dangerous. And I'm not going to give up my firearms. But if I were required by law to prove that I am mentally stable enough to own a firearm, I'm fine with that. That seems reasonable. The only people who that will seem unreasonable to is unreasonable people. And that's just a fact.